What's up, y'all? Alden back with another video. I wanted to make this week because something that I'll get to in a second came to my attention. But just discuss some resources that are available for pedal steel players I think everyone should be aware of. Not all this is going to be aimed at beginners, although a lot of it will be. But a lot of this stuff can go from beginner to intermediate to advanced. And even if you're further along your playing journey, I think it's still just good resources to be aware of if you're ever wanting something new to dig into. But yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and kick into it. The first, which is why I wanted to make the video this week, is the Jeff Newman stuff, which was kind of my attention is back on YouTube. It was on there a few months ago, and I was going through it, then they got taken down. I saw a bunch of other people were also kind of wondering where it got taken down, where they could find it. In my experience, all that Jeff Newman stuff is very hard to come by, and maybe I'm wrong in saying this, but I feel like it's gate-kept a little bit by people that do have it. I don't know, but it's an invaluable resource. If you don't know who Jeff Newman is, and you're a steel player, I'm sure you will eventually, but basically he had a college back in the day, and he'd go around doing workshops. He'd even had something at his place in Tennessee where people would go and like stay for a week or two, like a college, a course in person. Invaluable teacher. He taught many of the greats that went on, players that went on to become greats. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of different videos on YouTube. It's not every single Jeff Newman thing, but there's a lot of the Up From the Top series, so like videos on A and B pedals, your D lever, your F lever, minor chords, a bunch of good stuff. That's what I've been practicing today, actually. And perfect example, like some of that stuff can be aimed at beginners, but even me, somebody that's been playing a few years, like there's still stuff I'm finding in that very useful, even though it may be simple, but just stuff that maybe I'd looked over when I first started playing, or now that I've been playing, I'll hear something and it's like a light bulb goes off and now it makes more sense. So yeah, I would say, and I don't want to, not to scare you, I mean, hopefully it stays on YouTube for good, but that is one I wouldn't wait around on in case it does get taken down again, hence why I wanted to make the video this week. On to number 2, we call this the Pedal Steel Bible. It's a book by Winnie Winston and Bill Keith. Yeah, it's a trademark, man. It's a classic. I think it's a good book for any steel player to have, especially if you're newer. On top of that, I also just wanted to make a side note, like anything I'm recommending in this video is stuff that I'm either currently doing or I've done in the past. There will be affiliate links in the description. You don't have to use them. Pedal steel is a super niche thing. I know even if everybody that watched my video bought one, it wouldn't really mean that much money anyways. But if you are going to get it, it would help out to get it in the links below. But do what you will. But I just want you to know I'm not just, this isn't like a affiliate clickbait thing. Like everything I've done myself or I'm currently doing. Another one I really enjoyed when I first started is this 100 Hot Licks for Pedal Steel book. Comes with there's like a code, you hook it up to a website, hear the audio. This is really good as a new steel player for like building your lick bag of your fallback licks, especially if you're playing live in bands like really early on into your playing, when you haven't had time to really, grow as a steel player. And I think that's a really fast way to grow is if you are able to get into some bands and start playing live, even if you're not ready. Sometimes that's the quickest way to learn, is being thrown into the fire. But a lot of good bite-sized licks in there, and, like I say in a lot of my videos, it's good to learn little bite-sized chunks, and you can expand on that as time goes on and put different picking patterns, etc., etc. Let's see what else we got here. Travis Toy Tutorials, obviously, that's probably the biggest one out now, and it's crazy, great price, updated pretty frequently. I'm just going to say Modern Music Masters for the next one. Which a big part of that is the Paul Franklin method, and the Paul Franklin method is like everything, but he's also got courses that you can just buy individually. But I don't want to say just Paul Franklin because Bruce Boughton has a great course on there. If you're a dobro player, some Jerry Douglas. I think there's even some like interviews with Lloyd Green and Paul. Some Tommy White stuff on there. A lot of great stuff. Another one is Music City Licks. There's a lot of guys on there. Nashville Cats. And Texas guys too, and some of them go over like classic songs you would want to know as a steel player. Some of the others are more concepts and ideas. It's kind of all over the spectrum, and it's cool though because there's so many players, and each one kind of has their own style, and you can get a feel for them. Next, I'm going to say YouTube/Patreon, because a lot of the guys that do stuff here on YouTube is still also have, they use that as a funnel to Patreon. But yeah, you're obviously on YouTube watching this. It's a great resource. I will say, if you're a new or still player, and I've said this in previous videos, but like, I think YouTube better serves you down the road once you got a foundation laid, or if you're looking for something super specific. I think it's good to have a good foundation laid before you just start venturing out on your own. So that's why this one's a little later on down the list. I have in-person lessons on here, or even on Zoom. In saying that, if you live in a place where you have a really good steel player in your town, I would recommend in-person lessons, because I do think there's something to be said for, if they're a good player, to getting in-person lessons and getting real-time feedback. They can correct you on the spot with mistakes early on, and that way you don't form bad habits, especially for like a brand new steel player. And I realize that's going to be very location specific depending on where you're at. And then also, if the person's even interested, a lot of steel players they stay busy playing because they're kind of a dying breed, but it seems like there's a lot more guys getting into it now, which is cool. I also had a point on here, which I kind of said earlier, but if you're able to start playing live, even as a new steel player, I think that's one of the best ways to get better. You're going to be uncomfortable a lot, and, but like I said, throwing yourself in the fire is one of the best ways, growing on the bandstand. And especially, when you're practicing, you can put those ideas that you're practicing to the test in a full band setting. Playing by yourself is totally different than playing in a band. Even like some of my lick videos, I say, like, if you're practicing by yourself and you hear certain notes, you might think you'll associate it with like the tonic or the one. But if you're playing with the band, you can play that against if they're playing a 4 or 5 or whatever, and it'll sound totally different. So it makes you think about how you play a little bit differently when you get in a full band setting. Sometimes you don't always want to play the exact chord the band is playing. You want to create some tension. That was a big point Jeff Newman was talking about on his minor videos this morning. One other book I'll recommend kind of toward the end. And I'm sure you can go on YouTube and learn about the Nashville number system too, but this is the book my buddy Jason Hill recommended me. Just Nashville number system by Chas Williams. And it kind of helped me get a better grip on it, give some examples in there. I do think you need to know some theory with steel, just because it's a lot easier to think in terms of numbers on the steel and positions versus always thinking about, oh, this is this chord, this is this chord. It's better to think in intervals and how your pedals are affecting that interval, because you're raising and lowering a lot of strings. You don't have to be a music theory whiz by any means, but you do need to have a basic understanding, especially in the long run. But yeah, this is I don't even know how long I've been recording, pretty short little video. But like I said, I would definitely recommend starting on that Jeff Newman stuff, just because I hope it doesn't get taken down again, but if it does, who knows? So I wouldn't wait around on that, because I was kind of putting it off the first time around. Then I came back the next week and they were all gone. I was like, well, shit. Yeah, I don't know how many resources that was, but I think just all good stuff to be aware of. And I'm sure there's plenty of other stuff I've missed. Even just going like to websites, there's a bunch of pedal steel websites about how to work on them. The Steel Guitar Forum, obviously. There's a lot of resources now. So if I missed something, please put it in the comments below. I'm not meaning to leave anybody out if I am. But yeah, that's it for this week. I appreciate everybody that's been hanging out, subscribing, commenting, reaching out to me. Yeah, I've been enjoying doing these videos. Been trying to stay consistent with one a week. It's been tough some weeks, but that's life, ain't it? But anyways, y'all take care. I guess we'll see you next week. Yeah, peace.